Recording in progress. There we go. Got it? Okay, hang on. I'm gonna hang up for that thing. All right, guys, can you hear us? Yep, okay.
Yes, I can
Bill's
hear
on
you.
too. We don't know why there were, we had to get him on. Sorry about that, guys. Stuff. Bill, are you in yet? Not yet. Hang on, everyone. I don't know why Deborah McCoy's picture is so big.
All right, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Bill.
Can everybody else hear me?
Can you guys hear Bill? Can you not?
Yeah, Bill. We can hear you, Bill.
Because you're all muted. So.
Thank you, Danny.
Hey, Bill. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Yeah, you're quiet though. Diane says you do sound kind of far away. Maybe turn your mic up, your sound up on your computer.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How's everyone doing today? Happy Friday.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Woo-woo!
All right, is that sound any better?
Yes, you sound louder now.
Hey, give me 1 second. I'm almost done swapping computer or swapping.
There you go. I was going to say, turn your video on so we can see you.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've had this problem. I don't know why this camera sporadically, it goes on, sometimes it goes off, and then I didn't know what to do. So I just went and bought another one. It's been working, so I left it alone. Of course, just as we're about to start this meeting, it decides it's going to go back to sleep. So
You're still a little quiet though.
I don't know if there's anything I can do. Let me try.
I mean, I hear him pretty good.
I hear you fine, Bill.
Do you guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Diane, do you hear him better? Morales?
I just turned up my input volume as well.
There you go. It's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, now you're loud.
Sing a song now. Well, no.
Wasn't it amazing, you know, how many Zooms we do, and yet, you know, there's so many times you still go to start a new one and something like this always happens. So
I know. Well, Zoom's been changing their platform with AI, and they didn't tell any of us that things are going to change. So everything looks different than how we were using it before. So, but welcome everybody. Happy Friday. So we got Sonya, you kind of disappeared off the front here, but you're there, right? Yep, I see you.
Here.
Okay.
I'm here. Yeah. Yes.
So thanks everyone for showing up to meet your leaders. So we've got a little bit of serious questions, and a little bit of fun questions for them. Thought it'd be good with all the new agents joining Home Smart Connect that they see the personalities behind our leaders. So we have questions. I'm going to start with Bill and Sonya. Bill, as you know, is our owner and CEO. And Sonya is a COO. And Sonya, you want to explain what a COO does and oversees?
Yes. So I oversee the departments. So I'm overseeing the accounting team, the recruiting, but more like sales, marketing, front desk. So just overseeing of all of the teams and like all of our groups, and then Bill being the owner oversees me even, so I have to write everything that's big through Bill, and then he approves that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Both of you, how long have you both been in real estate, and are you married, partner, kids? Give us the scoop.
Let Bill go first on this one.
I'll go first. Yeah, I've been in since '86, so I'm one of the dinosaurs. I love running into agents that have been in the business longer than me, and there are a few of you out there. I think there's a few of you on this call, actually. I started at Merrill Lynch Realty, was there for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So I remember interest rates were 18%, but I was too stupid to know that was a bad interest rate because I was a kid, and I always thought my credit cards are 21, so 18 is a pretty good rate, right? So I was dumb enough to not know it was bad and used to sell a whole lot. Was there for about 2 years, went over to Stark, was at Stark for about 2 years, which is Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Stark now. And then I got my managing broker's license and went over to Remax in 90 and managed the Mount Prospect office from 90 till 99. And then I started buying Remax offices. So I had Remax Unlimited Northwest was mine. I had that with a partner until 2011. And I actually just did a podcast that shared a little bit about my story about how when the market crashed, it crashed hard for me because of where it was positioned. And I got out of the real estate business for 2 years. I opened up an LED lighting company. I should have saved that for the, hey, what do people not know about you?
I know. You should have. Darn it.
You'll
I
have
opened
to
that-
use the other one I gave you.
I got it. I'm good. But it's funny. I opened that up, and about 18 months in, I remember I sat down. I used to have lunch with the UPS guy every day. He would come in, and I just liked the UPS guy. But that was the highlight of my day. And I said that to him one day, and he goes, "What are you doing?" Like, he goes, "Is this really how you want to live?" I go, "No, I miss real estate." And, then HomeSmart was born. That was 2013.
And
Wow.
family,
Yeah,
kids.
I'm married, 3 daughters. Just married off the first one. I've got 3 girls, 30, 32, 20. I have to always remember because on the even numbers I can remember, on the odd years I can't. One just turned 32. The other is 27. The other one is 23.
A lot of girls in that household and one guy.
Lot of estrogen in this house.
I hope the dog's a guy.
He is. Thank God.
Okay, there you go. Sonia, how about you?
How about me? Okay, personally, so I'm divorced. I live with my boyfriend. We've been together for 7 years. I have 3 daughters from my marriage, and they are 23, 26, and 30. And I just became a grandmother. So my oldest got married last year, and I know, yay, baby Isla. She's the most beautiful little gift in the world. And I got started in real estate back in 1999. So I started in new home sales. That was where I got started because I was working for a new home builder at the time. And I can remember that, I was that girl when everyone would turn in their contracts on Monday that they had written over the weekend. I would call the agents and be like, hey, I need an addendum, those kinds of things. And they would always say, you should really go into sales. You've got a great personality. And so when went on maternity leave, I went to real estate school and I came back from maternity leave and was like, put me in, coach. I got my license. So I started in new home sales, did that for about a year and a half. But not having a weekend off started to really wear on me. It was hard to have Tuesdays and Wednesdays off. So went into resale, and I was with KW for about 10 years. And one of my claim to fame with KW is I sold 9 homes in 1 month. And so I got my name up on the wall, and it was a big deal. So yeah, that was how I got started.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, Bill, question for you. We are the #1 franchise for HomeSmart with over 800 agents. Woohoo! What made you choose a HomeSmart franchise?
Yeah, I love being asked this question. So, in 2008, in 2007, I bought out, I think I bought out my business partner. In 2008, of course, we go through, I go 2007, I'm like, yee, it's all mine. Yeah.
Crash and burn.
Yeah, in 08, it started crashing. 08, 2009, 2010. What a lot of people don't know is I was very heavily vested in office buildings. And in 2010, that office market really crashed. And I was spread too thin. I was leveraging buildings to buy other buildings on a pretty regular basis. And, my world crashed. So when I sold my Remaxes, I had a 2-year non-compete. For 2 years, I could not be in the real estate business whatsoever. And I said, fine, I don't care. I'm never going back. And like I said, I opened up an LED lighting company. About 18 months into opening up the lighting company, when I started getting uncomfortable, ironically, my phone started ringing. So Coldwell Banker called me, looking for a regional director. I interviewed with them. I remember putting on a shirt and tie and going in the interview. And Chrissy, my wife, was all excited. And I walked out of that interview and I went, oh, hell no. That's not me. I can't do it. I got offers from, I almost bought Keller Williams, Barrington and Palatine. I looked at a partnership with Remax. I looked at a partnership or a job opportunity with Stark. Andy Stark offered me a position to run his companies for a few years. And then after a few years, after I learned how to run it, he was going to actually retire. There's a whole backstory with family behind there, and Aaron, his son, is now running it, which is the proper thing to do. That would have been a short time thing for me. But I had an agent of mine that used to work for me when I had my Remaxes, and she moved to Arizona. And as most of you guys know, HomeSmart started in Arizona. So she went out to Arizona, called me one day and said, I really miss my family. I'm moving back to Chicago. You're the only guy I'll work for. What do I need to do? And I went, well, I don't own anything. And I didn't want to steer her wrong. So I spent some time with her on the phone sharing, these are the good offices, the offices that I think are run very well, the offices that are run maybe not so well. So it's kind of giving her an idea. I'll never forget the end of the phone call. She goes, don't you have like a HomeSmart? And I went, what the hell is HomeSmart? I'd never heard of it. So called Matt Widows, the founder, and he flew me out to Arizona. And I was out there for 2 or 3 days, and I just fell in love with the system. I'm a very good person. I'm very good with math. So I'm sure this is run through each of your minds when you joined us. I'm going to a company, we charge $39 a month, $450 per transaction. How the hell do they make money? They're going to be out of business within a year or 2 years or 5 years. And there really are some metrics to that, to understanding how that whole thing works. And I remember sitting down in Arizona going, okay, I'm going to lose $160,000 first year if I do this. I have to have $160,000 to lose. I'm going to lose, I think the second year we had budgeted to lose $35,000, because this kind of model, it takes a while to get it ramped up and be profitable. But then I started looking at year 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. And as you grow this, and I had the vision that I could do it. So it's taken off. And it's one of the reasons you don't see a lot of people opening up 100% companies. You don't see people doing the onesie twosie branches because there's just no money in it. There's not enough money in it. You have to build it to this kind of scale to be able to do it. And I've been excited ever since. So it's fun. It's really, really fun just continuing. I love the growth. It gives me energy. So
Awesome. Was that
Yeah,
Kathy
really.
Yates that was moving back?
no.
Okay. Because she was at HomeSmart in Arizona and she was with us at Remax. So
and she finally did move back. It took Kathy
Yeah.
a little longer for her to move back, but it wasn't Kathy.
Another question is, what is your long-term vision for the company over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, it's really we focus on targets. When we first started, the goal was to get to, when we first started, the goal was to get to 26 agents, because that's bare minimum for covering a lot of our expenses. Then the goal is to get to 50 to 100. It's really following those plateaus. The next was 250. The next was 500. We're growing very quickly to that 1,000 mark, and that's our goal by the end of next year. Our 5-year goal is to get to 1,500. It's difficult to get to that point at the speed we're going, even though we're growing very, very well. It's still difficult to take that big of a jump in that shorter period of time. So we're constantly looking into mergers, acquisitions. We've got a couple of companies, some Century 21s, a couple of Remax offices that have since closed and rolled into us. Most of those are small acquisitions, but I'm always looking at the bigger 100% independents, the Chicagoland brokers, the Kale Realty, the Hometown Realty in Chicago. Something that we can roll into. And I track those on a pretty regular basis. So anybody knows of anybody looking to get out of the business, please call us right away. We'll buy them in a minute.
What about
Nailed it.
opening any offices?
Interesting you should say that. Well, last year, and I'll be honest with you, last year was a difficult year for us from a financial standpoint, because it's not inexpensive to open offices. It's typically over $100,000 just to open up another branch. So, and then it takes a while for that branch to start building to be profitable. So, as you guys know, last year we opened up Antioch and we opened up McHenry. Antioch was planned because we had purchased the existing Antioch office. The gentleman who sold it to us was he had somebody that wanted to lease his building, And he did his math and he realized that without all the headaches of running a real estate company, he could make as much money leasing his existing space to somebody who was willing to pay him a premium. And he since sold it to us. So we knew we had to move Antioch. We were not expecting McHenry, but all of a sudden a location that we felt was good came up. We had a group of agents from McHenry that wanted to join us that came up. So we did those. The challenges, so last year, what I'm speaking to is we typically like to open up an office maybe every other year. We opened up 2 last year, so that hurt my pocketbook a little bit. There was a little bit of investment there. So we were trying to pump the brakes and move a little slower, but this is a little premature because I don't have anything signed, but we are focusing on and maybe close on a location in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And that's our next goal.
I swear I did not know this stuff when I asked the question. So, don't kill me.
The whole Lake Geneva thing, it's not, nothing is finalized. We're close on a couple of venues. It's something that we have eyed and targeted for a long time. We have probably 30 agents that are already licensed in Wisconsin that work typically out of either Antioch or McHenry. But I think there's a couple out of even Arlington Heights. So it's going to be nice to have that central, that location. Plus, I happen to go up there quite a bit. I have a house up that way, so I hope to go up there quite a bit. It'd be nice to be able to have an office to stop into every once in a while.
Okay, next question is for both Bill and Sonya. What's your outlook on the housing market in the next year? What's your take on it?
Sonya, I'll let you go first.
Sure. My take is I feel like it's normalizing more. We're seeing longer days on the market. We're seeing a lot of price changes or price improvements. So I think when I say normalizing, what I'm meaning is that there's more sellers out there now that, people have realized they can't keep hanging on to that 2.5% interest rate or 3% rate that they locked into, back in 2021. That life goes on. And like we always preach in training, we will always have jobs because there's always going to be weddings and deaths and divorces and, all of life's changes, babies. So I do think that we are normalizing. Probably more foreclosures are going to come out of the market as well. With that, I don't know. What are your thoughts there, Bill?
Yeah, this is one of the things there. Our thoughts, I think every time Sonya and I speak about something like this, our thoughts are pretty well in line. We did all of a sudden, I track MRED stats. I'm a real big numbers guy, even though I hate accounting. I'm a real big numbers guy. And all of a sudden you'll see, I think I put it on our Facebook marketplace. If you notice the MRED numbers, all of a sudden inventory jumped up, it spiked up. So the inventory is absolutely growing. It's growing at a pretty rapid rate for midsummer. Typically this starts happening in a typical market, your April, May, June, not July, August, September. So it's a little bit different, but we're really seeing everything become a lot more secular, a lot more traditionally secular, where these spring markets are ramping up. Summer is still pretty strong. I encourage everybody to prepare for fall and winter because the last couple of years have not been, they have not been dry. They've not been dead. I suspect that it's going to slow down a lot more this winter than it has in the last couple of years. I don't see any major change in interest rates, but I think we're going to start seeing that bell curve on a regular basis. I think it's going to ebb and flow each year, where the last couple of years, or at least the last 4 or 5 years, it's been pretty steady at a high pace for quite a while.
Yeah, I agree too. How do you feel you can ensure that agents stay productive during a shifting market? Because we're seeing that little shift starting to happen.
Yeah, I preach this pretty strongly. In fact, I've had a couple of very high producers call me and say, "Hey, how am I going to stay active?" And it's something I've been preaching for 30 years. This business is a people business. That's why I don't think this business is ever going away. I don't think we're going away like the travel agents and the car salesmen with the Carvanas and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's ever going to happen because this is much more of a people business. Is it a people business when I used to work with a travel agent? No. Get me a good deal, take me to a nice place. I could care less who you are, but this is about relationships and it takes time. So it's really, you have to realize most buyers, in my opinion, and this is something that Brian Buffini and Joe Stumpf used to teach, Mike Ferry used to teach this, buyers are typically on a 45-day cycle. So if you met a buyer 45 days ago, your chances of having a sale right now are pretty good. Sellers are a much longer cycle. Sellers are a 90 to 120-day cycle. They just need to get to know you a little bit better. They're dipping their feet in the water. They're getting rid of their prized possession. So my point with all of that, perfect example. I had my very first manager when I got in the business. His name was Cal Pearson with Merrill Lynch, and he used to draw a symbol that looked like this, and it was called belly to belly. And he would come to me all the time. Every month, I'd have to turn in. He goes, Billy, how many people are you going to get belly to belly with this month? And that's really what you got to start doing now if you want to ensure that
Yeah.
fall is going to be the least bit busy, or even winter is going to be busy, is doing whatever you can to get face to face with as many people as you can. One of the things I used to do, and I love, and I know inventory is a little bit low still, it's not up to where it was. I used to do open houses. I would do as many open houses as I could on a weekend. If I had two agents in my office that had two houses close to each other and they were both the same price, I would do an open house on both of them. I do one on Saturday, one on Sunday. And what would happen on the Sunday's open house typically is the same buyers are walking in that walked in on Saturday. They're looking for a house in that area. They're interviewing agents. And then I would start building rapport. So the best advice I can give anybody right now, especially right now, it's perfect timing for this, is get out there, get your face out there, get your card out there, start meeting as many people as you can possibly meet.
There is no magic pill. The
There is no
basics have always worked in our industry. So, Sonia, what are your thoughts?
It's so funny because Bill and I do think so alike. I mean, what I have written down for a note here is get out there. And what I mean by the get out there is join something, get out of your shell, join the bowling league, join the dart league, join the poker team, join the sewing crew, join, the swim team, whatever you can do to help meet new people and expand your sphere of influence, your sphere of influence, and just make new friends, because it is such a relationship business. It's all about relationships. And honestly, the less you talk about real estate, the better. You need to be getting to know people on a very personal level. And then work talk always comes in, oh, how's work for you? All of the Ford type things like with Ninja. You ask someone, how's work going for you? They're going to ask you how work is. And then that's your introduction to talk about real estate. But until then, it's really just about establishing relationships. And the best way to establish and create those relationships is by putting yourself out there and joining something that you're interested in and that you love. So get out there and book yourself up. Don't be sitting at home.
You know, what's interesting that I had an agent walk up to me because we had Marvin Mailers come in the office. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the way Marvin Mailers works. And Marvin Mailers is really a mailing system for marketing to your sphere. And what I realized after they were in there, and I'd encourage somebody on this call to hold me accountable to this, because I tend to be drifting off and I got a million projects going on. But what I realized is I haven't opened up a lockbox in 5 years. I've been focusing on running the company. And as the company grew, my sales slowed. But I do have a team that when my brother calls, I send them over to Marlo Mesner works with me. So when my brother calls, I send him over to Marlo, my sister, my cousin, all my sphere. But what I recognized was I have been marketing to my sphere. I haven't marketed my sphere in 7-8 years. So I'm at least going to start doing something to at least generate some other personal business for myself as well. I encourage everybody here to do it.
Yeah, I've done it for 15 years with Marvin's cards, and I think it's the number one thing I will never cut out of my marketing.
You know how I found
Diane,
out?
you use
Affordable.
them also, don't you?
Who does?
Diane
Yeah.
also uses them and stuff. Yeah.
They're affordable. They're absolutely affordable. So they're great. Diane put in here, utilize the 36 touch. Love that, Diane. Yes.
You know how I discovered
That's
Marvin
exactly right.
Mailers? I discovered Marvin Mailers because there was a friend of ours who worked for, I don't remember what company it was, but all of a sudden I opened up the kitchen junk drawer, and there's a stack of these like recipe cards and measure this, and here's all the concerts, and here's all the baseball and football and all that kind of stuff. I go, what? I'm a big phobia thing with this. I'm like, if there's a Remax cozy cooler in my house, it's gone. It's in the garbage. So I asked Chrissy, I'm like, what the hell is all this? She goes, well, it's really good information. I go, you're right. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now I had to have Marvin take me off of their list so I could put myself on my list so I saw what was going out to my sphere, but that was a long time ago.
Wow.
So
Well,
here's another good question for you guys. What's a mistake you've made that taught you something valuable? Why are you laughing, Sonia?
Mistakes are painful. They hurt. They hurt.
Mistakes are always lessons. Mistakes are
Yes, they
always
are.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
It's so true. So
You
no,
know,
I'll share first. I one time had, was going to do a showing and I had my buyers with me and I knock on the door and announced myself and open the door and walk in and a man is buck naked on his couch asleep. And me and my buyers look at each other like, what do we do now? Because obviously if we go wake this guy up, that's really awkward too. We're not going to go shake this naked guy on the couch. I'm not going to start yelling. So we just kind of like tiptoe back and lock the door like we were never there. But what I learned from that was to, ring that doorbell, announce yourself loudly, really announce yourself because you just never know if someone is going to be just getting out of the shower and walking around the house naked or whatever the case. So that's something that I thought was valuable, which is important, I have to say, because with everyone having to ring doorbell nowadays, by the
Oh,
way, I have had sellers call me and go, they just walked right in. They didn't even ring my doorbell to see if I was home. So, so sellers are looking at buyer's agents and making sure that you're knocking on the door and announcing yourself.
I laugh because I too walked in on the naked guy, but he was in the basement, and I remember like, oh, we're out of here. We just turned back around. Fortunately, he was face down, so it wasn't horrible, but I'm sure
I'm gonna bet the majority of the agents on here have experienced that same thing, right? Yep.
I see a lot of head shaking.
Especially before cell phones and voicemails were left on a machine.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness.
Bill,
Hey,
what do you have that's a mistake that taught you a valuable lesson?
more than anything, it's partnerships, and how you handle partnerships and how you handle business. And I encourage anybody on here that either has a team or is building a team. It's one of the things one of the reasons we insist on getting a copy of a team agreement is to make sure that there's some core, and I just call it an exit strategy. An exit strategy for a team is, hey, if the team member is going to leave, how do we handle their trailing sales? So now we have something in writing that you've both agreed to, so there's no argument down the road. Um, that's the biggest. The two things in business that I focus on is, I was talking a little bit about mergers and acquisitions. We had an opportunity to merge with one of the big 100% companies. But to do that, I would not have controlling interest. I immediately had no interest in it. So anything that I do, if you're doing a rehab with somebody, if you're buying something, unless that return is guaranteed and amazing, make sure that you got controlling interest on everything and make sure that you have an exit strategy on everything you do from a partnership standpoint.
Excellent. So if you both weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Not corporate accounting. or not LED lighting, neither one of them.
LED lighting.
You'd be boating.
If money was not an object, that's exactly what I'd be doing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but I was, gosh, when we were about a little less than half the size we are now. We were probably a lot less than half. We were probably about 375 agents, 350 agents. HomeSmart International approached me and wanted to open in Florida. And I've always, every time I talk to them, they're like, "Hey, what's your end game? Where are you going to go?" I go, "I'm going to be down in Florida. I love it down there. I get to go to the boat. I beach. I love playing sand volleyball. That's my mojo. That's my my fun time." And they approached me and said, "Hey, we would like for you to develop Florida. We'll give you the state of Florida. You develop, you open franchises, you partner with people down there." And I was really enticed because I really wanted to go down to Florida. And one of my buddies, I hope I'm not getting too far off on this. One of my buddies made a comment to me and he said, "You're an idiot." And obviously he's a good friend. He goes, "When you come to Florida, you like to drink rum, hang out on the beach, go on the boat." He goes, "You think you're gonna be doing any of those things if you're running a real estate company down here?" And quite frankly, it would have taken my focus off of Chicago. That was my big aha. That was my other. I have two people that advise me, my good friends that advise me on a regular basis. And that's what the other one just asked. He said, "Is it going to take your focus off Chicago?" I go, "Yeah, I think it will." And I praise God I didn't, do that back then. But I can't see myself in anything other than real estate. I don't think I'll ever retire. I think what I'll do when I slow down is still do, I don't know, flips. I love doing fix and flips, doing rehabs. I built a house in Park Ridge one time and I brought my daughter through it when she was still fairly young. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, Dad, you did all this? How did you do it?" I go, "I did it all with this finger." I told the painter to paint that color right there. I told the cabinet guy to put these cabinets right there, and I just pointed my finger around. So I don't think, I think real estate is in my blood. I don't think I could have ever been anything other than doing this.
Yeah. Did you guys ever have an oops moment in your career of real estate that you learned something from? I think yours, Bill, would have been not to have a 50-50 partnership.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and that's impacted me a lot.
Because that was
And that's why I
Remax.
say, I mean, that was a terrible time in my life. But I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from a business perspective, and I've coached a lot of other guys who own businesses as a result of that, or I've coached a lot of agents that are building teams as a result of that.
Yeah.
You know, not that either of us were bad people, not that either of us did anything wrong, but partnerships, it just, that's why divorces are so strenuous because you're both good people. You just didn't click. And now you both have a 50% interest in this, and nobody wants anybody else to get the upper hand. So yeah, that was a big aha for me.
Sonia, did you have anything?
Well, okay, so an oops moment, but really wasn't an oops moment, but it was more of an aha moment was I had buyers where I had a buyer representation agreement. This is probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And they ended up buying a new build and went in without me, bought a new build. And I'm following up with them going, what just happened? And you're going to owe me per our buyer representation agreement because this, you still owe me whether I show you the house or not. And I bring it to the attorney and I'm ready to go full force at my buyers to say, you need to pay me. And he's like, this buyer representation agreement doesn't hold water. It doesn't mean anything. And that was very alarming for me. That was when I realized, first of all, that I needed to switch to a different buyer representation agreement, that I was not using a very good one. I was using a 1-page versus a 3-page buyer representation agreement that was very diligent and said all of the things like you are liable for this. But it was like an aha moment about the buyer representation agreement. It had let me down at that time. And it was also very interesting to learn what it does cover and what it doesn't. And certainly, again, this is about 6 or 7 years ago. So it doesn't even pertain to right now's business. But that was very interesting for me at the time. But if I weren't in real estate, which I agree with Bill, I can't see myself in anything else. I was actually in architect school at ASU back when, before real estate. So back when, that was my whole dream, was to be an architect, because growing up in Arizona, we would go through model homes every Sunday after church. I mean, that was our jam. It was so fun to do as a family. And, things are always building like crazy out there. So I always thought, I'm going to be an architect and design offices and houses. But, life has other plans. I met my husband, got married, had babies, and I took that break from college and never went back. So that's what happened there. Yeah.
So if either of you could have dinner with a leader, somebody past or present, dead, it's okay. Who would it be and why? Some of the great leaders are dead. We'll bring them back for dinner though.
I got me. There's two people I still follow. I listen to Zig Ziglar all the time. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Zig Ziglar.
Absolutely. He's wonderful.
Greatest salespeople in the world, and in a funny way, not in a salesy way. Just always knew how to spin that thought or that process in your head in a funny way or a comical way. Usually, is fantastic. And one I still strive to. I've met him once, not long term. I'd love to have dinner. There's a book that I read on a pretty regular basis, and it's a really easy read. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert has since gone off and written a bunch of other. He's expanded his book library. None have been quite as good as that Back to Basics one, and I read that on a pretty regular basis. And he just has a very common sense approach to real estate. So I'd love to connect with him.
Sonia?
Mine's not nearly as cool as his. Mine is a Dutch woman. Her name is Corrie ten Boom. She died back in 1983. Corrie, what she did is she lived in Amsterdam and she hid Jews in her home from the Nazis, very similar to Anne Frank. And I did not go through that house when I was in Amsterdam. I went through Anne Frank's house, but not Corey ten Boom's. And it's always been on like a regret thing of mine that I didn't go. So I plan on going back to go through it. But I just really love everything she stood for. You know, she was a Christian woman. She was doing the right thing, no matter how scary it was. And, you know, and I mean, she lived for 90 years. So I don't
Wow.
know. I'm sure she had so much wisdom to share. She did do actually in the end, she was doing a lot of like guest speaking events. And I had always wanted to go to one of those, but never made it. I mean, obviously I was very young at that point in time as well, but I wish I could have gone. That would have been
Well,
neat.
thanks for shining a light on her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Something I never had heard of her, so that's great.
Mhm.
You kind of answered this, Bill, but what's a book, podcast, or quote that changed your mindset?
Yeah, it's two things. Obviously, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I have it's here somewhere. I have a sign that is always in my office. You'll probably, if you've ever been in my office, there's one here. I don't know where I put it now. Somebody moved. Oh, there it is. It's never, never, never give up. And
Winston Churchill.
that's just a slogan, I guess, that I picked up, or a saying that I picked up. I started when I went through my very difficult time, financial. I always tell people I've been to financial hell and I'm never going back. That's what drives me. It's what keeps me working. But yeah, never, never, never give up. I look at it every single day, or think about it at least every single day.
Sonya.
One of the best books that I ever read was Leadership Above the Line. And it's by Sarah Sumner. And it's about integrity and handling things the right way and with class. And but also having compassion. So, you know, it's that fine line, that balance in leadership that you always are striving for, you know, to be firm, but not mean, to be, you know, compassionate, but not too soft and let everything go by. You know, so finding that line, it was a very helpful book. Still one of my favorites.
And what's it called? Leadership Above the Line?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
Great.
doing what you're supposed to be doing, even when nobody's looking, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So what
Yes.
is something we would all be surprised to know about you?
Hmm.
When I sent the questions to Billy's like, well, I don't know anything.
Oh. No, yeah, I don't know. I have 8 brothers and sisters. There's 9 of us.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
it's
that I bet most people didn't know that.
yeah, it's one of my blessings when I got into this business. It's what made the business back then so easy. You know, if you think about it, I'm 20 some years old. Interest rates are 18%. I used to tell people all the time, you know, you're fine. Your credit cards are 21, 22%, 23%. This is a great deal. And they were all buying, you know, new first time condos, townhouses, all the small stuff. My philosophy was just sell as many of those as you could, because they're going to all outgrow those and buy something else. But I got lucky. None of my brothers or sisters went into real estate. None of their friends went into real estate. So like I was the guy.
Done.
Oh. Everyone in my family owns their own business. My dad has his own engineering firm. My brother owns 35 charter schools. You know, all of my aunts were teachers. So, but seeing my dad and my brother basically owning their own business was a motivator for me to always look at owning my own business someday and being my own boss. So that's been something that I've also strived for as well. But you know, to kind of what Bill was saying as well, you know, that never, never, never give up. I've definitely heard that from my brother and my dad as well, because
Yeah.
of their struggles, you know, with different partnerships that they've had, things like that, owning their own businesses. But it's great too, though. Sometimes when I'm struggling with something, I'll call my brother or my dad too and ask them for some advice, and they're so helpful. So it's great.
You got to have that backbone. You got to have that consult group. You know, for me, it's
Yes.
it's a it's a core group of friends who are all. It's funny because if you knew us all in high school, you wouldn't think anybody would ever be. You know, we all be, I don't know, sitting on the couch drinking beers
Most
In
likely a
jail.
party.
or in jail. Yeah, and they're all. I mean, one of my buddies is far more successful than I could ever imagine to be. But you know, most of my really good friends that I was close with back then are very, very successful, and they're all entrepreneurial. So, but it's nice to, you know, when I struggle with something, where I could pick up the phone and go, "Hey, dude, what do you think of this?" And it's
Mhm.
that kind of conversation, and they're brutally honest with me, unfortunately, fortunately and
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right.
I always loved Les Brown. Remember, he was big when we were at Remax. He did all the speaking at the conference, conventions. But I always remember to this day him saying, OQP, only quality people in your life. If they're not an OQP person, get them out of your life.
100%.
And that's true. Surround yourself with who supports you, lifts you up, get rid of the negative Nellies.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I've focused on that very, very hard since 2011. Very hard.
So I'm dying to ask the next question. What trait would your spouse or partner say that drives them crazy? Did you ask Chrissy this?
I did. I did. I go, listen, Vicky asked me this question. I go, what do I do? What drives you crazy? Yeah, and those of you that don't know, you'll see if you're at any of the events, my wife usually shows up to the event. She's extremely, extremely supportive.
Yeah.
Has always been, in my ring and my cheerleader on a regular basis. She knows what I'm capable of, and she encourages, pretty much everything we do. But it's not that it drives her crazy, but it took her a long time to get this. And it's funny because now I hear her say it to my kids, or my kids are like, Dad, come on, why are you not doing this? And they're like, hey, he's working right now. And it's not that I said, so now I work like 24/7. She goes, no, but I realized that you're always on call. You're always on call. It could be 10 o'clock at night. It could be not 5 in the morning. Please don't anybody call me at 5 in the morning. My phone is off. But there's always something that, and to me, I don't even notice that it's work because it's something I enjoy. If I get a call and somebody's stuck with something and I can help them out of it, I enjoy that. It's not like it's a challenge or anything. It's just talk. It's like talking to a buddy that says, hey, how do you do this? But it took her a very long time to realize, we'd go out to dinner and I'm like, I'll be right back. I'm the guy that goes out in the hallway and takes that call from a buyer or a seller or something like that. But she respects it. She understands it. And knows that, that's how we make a living.
That's a great answer, because I bet everybody on this link right now can relate to that about their spouses feeling the same way.
I
If the
read-
spouse isn't in real estate, it's like it's hard for people to grasp that, hey, we're at dinner, but you're like, but it's a $12,000 commission. I gotta go take the call.
Yeah, I was reading something the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but they were saying exactly that. When you're looking for a spouse, or when you have a spouse, one of the most important things in a relationship is that a spouse understands you and you're on the same page, and understands that you love what you do and is supportive of what you do. Because that's the hardest thing is, I got to go to work, and then you come home, and instead of being home at 5, you were negotiating a deal and you got home at 7:30 and your spouse is all ticked off. I've been with my wife for married 34 years now. So, it took a long time to get her acclimated with that, but she's acclimated with that. If it happens, it happens. And she gets that's, she gets why I have to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't always like to do it, but I have to do it sometimes.
What about Tom, Sonya? Right? Okay, so I asked Tom the same question. And Tom said one of the things that drives him crazy is that I eat standing up all the time. Do you know how if you make dinner, you make plates? I'll just stand in the kitchen at the counter and I'll just eat my dinner. And he's like, no, come sit with me.
That's because he makes the dinner all the time.
Right, exactly. So one of the things that drives him crazy is that I eat standing up. The other thing, 'cause there were two, how offensive. There was another thing. And the other thing that offends him is that I'm always cleaning. I'm constantly cleaning. He's like, he's like, I'm barely even done, and you're cleaning up behind me, and always just tidying up and stuff like that. So sometimes he's like, just come sit down, come sit down. I struggle. I have this concept in my brain that I have to earn my relaxation time, because once I sit down on the couch, I'm not moving. I can't, girl down. So I have to do everything I can to earn my relaxing time.
Yeah.
So he's starting to understand that because he sees it.
So we're going to end this with some fun, rapid little fire questions. That you guys just boom, boom, boom.
Love it. Love it. Love
Okay.
it. Love it. Love it.
Cubs or White Sox?
Cubs.
Oh, good. I want to make sure Sonya said Cubs first because we have a very difficult time moving forward.
No cheating, Bill. On like you can't. You got to say it at the same time.
No, yeah, huge Cub fan. Got it. I'll throw it out.
Okay, beach or snow?
Beach.
Oh, beach.
Most used emoji.
Heart.
I use either the heart or thumbs up.
Boy, you guys are boring.
I
Thumbs
know.
up.
That's it.
Okay,
Heart.
big critical thing because I'm a fan of this. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
You're both weird. No, hell no.
Pineapple on anything. Let's just throw that out there. Pineapple on anything. Pineapple rocks.
That's a big thing in California, pineapple and Canadian bacon on the pizza. So,
Mhm.
what superpower would you want?
Me, time travel.
Ooh, that is such a good one. I wish I
love
would have thought of that.
Can you
I'm
imagine
thinking
that?
flying, like to be able to fly. I think that'd be cool. Like I'll be in Tennessee tomorrow. Shoot.
Cheaper airfare.
Right?
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
This is
Night
one area
owl.
I'm pretty sure. What did you say, Sonya?
Night owl.
Night owl. I'm surprised
Yeah.
because I mean you've
Yeah.
called me sometimes early in the morning. I'm like, I'm not even awake yet. What is that all about?
I know. Trying to change that. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I'm a huge night owl
Yeah.
Yeah.
to a fault.
I used to vacuum at like 10 p.m., you know, and but it was great because the kids were asleep. So I had the time to clean, you know? Yeah.
You are welcome to stop by my house anytime and clean, by the way.
You got it.
So now, are you Buffini, Ninja, or Fairy?
This is an
Ninja.
interesting one.
Ninja.
Don't
I
think
feel
you
like
got to
Buffini is
answer.
more. Okay.
No, it's a hard and it's a long question, or it's a hard question because you talk about dinner. I've had dinner with Brian Buffini. Brian used to be my coach a long time ago when it was just Brian coaching. It's a funny story. We're at I think it was at NAR convention one time, and Brian Buffini comes walking up to our table, and I'm sitting at our table with Ashley Bowers, who was the CEO of HomeSmart, and Matt Widows, who's the founder. And Brian Buffini walks up, and he walks right past both of them. He gives me a hug. He's like, "Willie, what are you doing here?" So I'd like to be able to say Brian, and I love Brian. Mike Ferry also. Mike Ferry's style is very difficult, but I will say when I followed his coaching years ago from a salesperson standpoint, those were the years that I made more money than any other coach. But I felt he made me feel hard inside. wasn't true to my values.
Yeah.
So I would say Ninja, and the reason I say Ninja is Ninja. If you're not familiar with Ninja, I think we're probably going to be introducing as much of that as we can if we haven't already. Ninja takes the best part of Brian Buffini and Matt Ferry and Joe Stumpf and Barb Schwartz and all of the coaches that a lot of us have gone through. Ninja takes the best part of each of those. I did Ninja in Colorado, which I'd encourage if anybody's going to do it, go away for it so that you're present during the whole thing. But it's funny because they bring up a topic. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's totally. At first, I'm in the audience going, well, they just ripped off Joe Stumpf. That was terrible. How could they do that? And then, oh, wait a minute. They ripped off Mike Fair. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I get it. They're pulling the best parts of all those programs and putting them into one. So Ninja was probably the most powerful program I've ever been through.
Agreed. I've done it twice.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. A vendor asked me when I was at the Ohio one, he said, what do you think between Buffini and Ninja? And I said, Ninja's like a university. It's very intense and really you are role playing right there and then. And Buffini is really good. It's a little more fun and a little more less intense than role playing right then and stuff. But if you really want to learn, Ninja's probably the best course to take.
And Brian or Mike Ferry preaches that I'm drillist. If you ever been to a Mike Ferry event, your first Mike Ferry
Tom
event,
Ferry.
the first hour you're in the event and going, this guy's the biggest jerk I ever met in my life. But his philosophy, and he'll tell you during the session, is, guys, I have to jam this down your throats like a fire hose because I know you'll only use like 20% of it. But he's very intense, where Brian is very relationship
Yeah.
oriented and very laid back. They're both very, very different styles.
Yeah.
And neither one of them are wrong. I mean, I've had a coach my entire career. If you guys don't have a coach, get a coach. I have a coach now. Now my coach is a little different than it was before because my coach are mentors in my life that I talk to on a regular basis. But when I talk to them, it's kind of funny. I spent the weekend with one of my buddies who's one of my sounding boards. And we got on a little bit of a call after I got back, and he was coaching me, and I was kind of done with it. I go, okay, Kenny, we're done coaching now. I got it. Topic taken. I took my notes. I'm going to do it. Now what's happening with you? How's the kids? That kind of thing. But I encourage everybody, if you don't have some kind of coach, even if it's nominal coaching, get an accountability partner. Call somebody else in the office that says, say, hey, like I just told you with the Marvin mailers, I need accountability for that. It's not something I'm going to do every day. And I'd encourage any one of you guys, shoot me a note, a week from now, go, hey, did you ever do that Marvin mailer thing? So make me do it.
Ruh-roh.
I know, ruh-roh.
Yeah, careful what you ask for, right?
I
You.
know. And for those of you who haven't been in real estate forever, Mike Ferry is Tom Ferry's dad. So a lot of agents
Yes.
really only know Tom Ferry and his brother. Mike was more back when we were in the 90s. Mike was about cold calling nonstop. He was very, obnoxious. Where Tom Ferry, you've probably seen more of Tom Ferry if you're.
Yeah, he's more social media. When you go to his things, he's social media and marketing ideas. Yeah.
Well, and Matt Ferry is coaching again. Matt Ferry's back out. I heard this from one of our
I
agents
told you
recently.
Kelly is doing his, and she's loving it. It's kind of more a mindset coaching, so more of getting your head in the game of things. So, if you want to know, reach out to Kelly and she can tell you what she's enjoyed about it and stuff.
That's Kelly Papadopoulos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's on.
The
Hi,
biggest
Kel.
thing, the biggest thing I learned from Matt Ferry is NLP. And I've done it with some of you guys. So NLP, they teach you NLP, it's neuro linguistic programming, and they teach you it when you're doing cold calling. So when I did cold calling at a very high level, I had a headset in this ear, a headset in this ear, and then the other phone was on speakerphone, and I would dial all three of them. But what it taught you was there's people that speak very fast, and when they speak very fast, you're going to want to come back to them very fast. There's other people that kind of speak slow, and when you come back, I've had people with accents, and I start throwing out, a little bit of a whatever accent it is, and you try and mirror and match them as much as you possibly can. It's funny when you talk to somebody, especially somebody with an accent, and you mirror that accent just a little bit. You have to be careful how you do it. They don't even know you're doing it, but they feel so much more comfortable because you're speaking the same kind of way that they're speaking. So I've always loved Matt. I thought Matt was fantastic. I was excited to hear him back. I told Kelly, let me know when he's in town or if he's doing a podcast or anything like that. I'd love to see him again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Last couple ones are emails or meetings.
Emails.
I already know what you're going to say, Bill.
Oh, emails. Yeah. I tell agents, and I apologize to a lot of you guys on a regular basis. But I tell people, don't try to call me. Don't text me. Please don't text me. Because if you text me, I literally get 40, 50 texts a day. So if you text me and I read, my daughter just showed me how to save a text to be unread. I didn't know you could do it.
Oh, yeah. You swipe. I just learned that too.
I would read the text and then I get 30 more and I would forget. And then you're so far down that I didn't call you back. And then you're mad that I don't call you back. But I usually do not end my day without returning all my emails.
Yeah.
Emails are the way to go. I couldn't agree more. So many people don't even, don't answer calls anymore. So it seems like it's either text or email. Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite app you've been using? Like something you discovered and you're like, this is a great app for real estate or life or
I mean, I wish I could say I was doing like some massive
Venmo? No.
like health app, like, yeah, I'm doing the 7-minute workout, That's what I'm sharing here, but it's not. Audibles is one of my favorite apps. I like to listen to something while I'm in the car, motivational or self-help books are my favorite. Like I love Mel Robbins. She's amazing. Listen to a lot of Mel. And then Amazon. of course, I just love Amazon because things come the next day. Amazon is our friend.
Yeah.
How about you, Bill?
I'm very similar. I mean, if everybody on this call, I was surprised to hear. I think we were talking in the office that some agents still don't know about forewarn. Forewarn is
Yeah.
free through the Realtor Association.
Yeah,
You know, I check up on all my daughter's boyfriends. I check up
yeah.
on everybody that
Check out and see if there's any
Love
pervs
it.
living next door to
Yes.
you. Anything weird.
I had to check out. I checked out a contractor. A friend of mine, good friend of mine's son, is doing some work in the kitchen, in his kitchen, bathrooms, all that kind of stuff in the city. And he called me. He goes, you know, there's something that just doesn't feel right about this guy, this contractor. His Yelp reviews are, you know, just okay, and there's only a few of them, but something just creeped us out with him when we met with him. Could you look him up? I'm like, sure. I've never seen a rap sheet so bad. I mean, there were like 45 criminal convictions and all this kind of stuff. So I go, no,
I'm not letting you in my house.
yeah. And then
Sorry.
Amazon. My neighbors joke because where my house is, we have a shared driveway. There's three of us. I'm all the way in the back, and then there's two other houses up front. And they joke because we got a pothole in the driveway, and I blame it on the one neighbor who's a contractor. I'm like, you keep backing up over this, or that's you. He goes, no. He goes, I don't have 15 Amazon drivers driving down my driveway every day. So
That's what happens when you have all those women in the house.
well, and it's funny because you know,
Yes.
one Christmas I was trying to convince Chrissy. I'm like, hey, this Amazon thing, they deliver right here. We can do all our shopping online. And she's like, no, I'm going out to the store. Well, sadly, I made the mistake. She has fully embraced Amazon. So there's typically a pile of boxes at my
He
front
sees
door on
all
a
of
pretty
its
regular basis.
glory.
Well, this is
That's
it. I
funny.
appreciate you guys so much doing this. I thought it'd be kind of fun for people to see the personalities and not all work stuff, a little work, a little personality. I hope you guys, the viewers, enjoyed it also. I do want to give a little shout out. Linda Lee wrote something in the chat room that was great. She said, whenever I worked an open house and it was slow, I would start making phone calls to past clients or friends, and about 80% of the time, I would end up with a new buyer or a CMA appointment. So phone calls are important too, and a great way to do it. I know some open houses it's crazy, but some are slow still. And then that's a great way. You're already at work technically. Why not keep it flowing and doing that kind of stuff?
Do either of you guys know, or does anybody on the call know? Is like, remember the crisscross directory? So when I sat in open house, I used to take copies out of the crisscross directory, and I would do the same thing, but I would call the neighbors. I'd call up and down the street and go, hey, listen, this is Bill Flemming. It's not a sales call. I just want to let you know I'm doing an open house at 302 Main, and it's a little bit slow right now, so I'm calling some of the neighbors. I know a lot of people just like to see the inside of their neighbor's house, see what kind of decorating ideas they do or whatever. If you happen to be free, stop on in for a cup of coffee. I'm not selling anything. Just, the door's open and I'm a little bored. And people love that. I thought it was
Doors
like,
open,
oh my
I'm on
gosh,
board.
hey, yeah, we can go in there. They invited us in there. Let's go. And everybody wants to see their neighbor's house.
I have done the
they-
same thing, but I've done the more door knocking. I've gone to their doors because I didn't have their numbers and just knocked on the doors and said, hey, so you see the open house signs, you're welcome to come through also.
Well, and I don't know if crisscross is still around. I honestly
I
don't.
don't think so. I don't know. I haven't heard about it in, I feel like, years and years and years.
But thank you for seeing that Linda Lee comment. I just made a note. I just wanted to share that. That was good. That was very good.
Yeah. Thanks, Linda, for putting that out there. Do you guys have just a couple minutes more if somebody wants to ask a question real quick?
Always.
So unmute if you want to ask a question, guys. You should be able to unmute yourself. Diane, I bet you cannot wait till August 1st. Diane, she said, can we maybe get a hands up for who's coming to Christmas in July, please? I'm coming. Bill's coming. Sonia's coming. Come on, guys. Hands up. Who's coming? You're going to miss out on lots of the fun in St. Charles. There's going to be, how many people, Diane, do you already have coming?
50? We already have approximately 50 people coming.
Yeah, come meet the other agents, and there's a hot dogs and taco truck and open bar. Not really. There's not an open bar. I lied. Diane, we should just say that, and then when they get there, go, oh, it was a typo. No
Can
open
anyone
bar.
answer this question? It's kind of off to the side, but I keep getting texts from Showing Time. I've never gotten these before, that I have to accept a bunch of terms and in order to get their Showing Time to send me, stuff for showings, which I've never had before. And I read through the very long list of things I'm saying yes to that I'm very uncomfortable with. And I don't like that they're tied in with Zillow now.
Yeah.
Should I just start taking my own, have people just text me when they want to show something and I'll confirm it, which I can do. But is HomeSmart going to ever have our own unhooked, not hooked up to Zillow and all this other nonsense in the real estate world where we can have people call and make appointments like the old days or something, or an app from HomeSmart or?
Yeah, not calling, but that is part of the RSA upgrade that they're working on right now.
Oh, great.
The whole RSA. I don't know if you guys are using the RSA app at all, or if you're using there's a consumer app now. Maybe we need to do a better job of getting the notice or let you guys know some of the stuff. They're really focused on having our system interact with the public. They want us to be able to, even in our RSA, have you be able to send a link to your client so your client could look right in your RSA and see all the documents. But part of that is also showing. I don't think that part of it has launched. I know I'll learn more about it in October when we go to Growth Summit in Arizona, because I do a lot of breakout meetings with a lot of the other broker owners. I'm also on the advisory council for HomeSmart International Leadership. So I know that's one of the big pushes that the advisory council has been pushing for. And I know it's one of the things that they are working on, but I don't know that it's gotten there yet. But as far as the showing time thing, I don't know the answer to that. So we will reach
I
out to
haven't
showing
gotten
time.
that when I've made an appointment.
It's not letting us sign it.
Are they actually for you to sign up for showing time texts? Are they sending you texts?
I'll tell you what it says. I gotta go to my text.
And then which Deborah is this? Because it says iPhone.
Halberg Palmer.
Got it.
Mhm.
I agree with you 100%, Deborah, in regards to, it's such a bummer also to be supporting Zillow,
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, my
Yeah.
personal opinion is I never have sold a house through Zillow. I've never had any, maybe an agent has brought one to me through Zillow. I have no idea. Personally, I don't care if my listings are on Zillow or not. I know that sounds really terrible, but people most of them look on Redfin anyhow. So anyhow.
Yeah,
I
there's a
agree. I
method.
don't
There's a
care
method.
about
But
Zillow
it says
either.
sure.
And most
They're
do look
correct.
on Russian.
So I'm signed up with Showing Time. I have Showing Time. I've always been in that Showing Time world, but it says Showing Time would like to text you about showing appointments. To start and receive text messages from Showing Time, blah, blah, blah. And then you have to click showingtimeplus.com. And then it says stuff like, oh, you know what, in the event you have to owe us fees and you have to pay. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this, and so I've never had this, and I put listings in all the time and never had this happen. So I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know what it is.
let me speak just a little bit to the Zillow as a whole as well. So a lot of you know that Zillow has implemented a policy that if you do not have a listing and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if it's 24 or 48 hours. I believe it's 48 hours. If you don't have your listing in the MLS or the active MLS within 48 hours, it will never go into Zillow. And I know what they're trying to do, and I support that. Because what it does, I am not a fan of the PLN. I know a lot of you guys, some people are huge fans, some people absolutely hate it, some people are in between. But just so you know, the whole Zillow policy does not affect our PLN. So if you have a property, as long as it's in the PLN and then goes active back into the MLS, that will show up in Zillow. That does not affect that whole thing. But it was funny because I threw a comment out there on our social media, just said, hey guys, I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on this whole thing with Zillow holding stuff off for 48 hours. Nobody even talked about the topic. Everybody just talked about, I can't stand Zillow. Zillow sucks. Zillow. So I feel your pain. I feel that a lot of people really do not like Zillow as a whole. I don't disagree with the policy that they're doing because quite frankly, what's happening is, Compass is getting to a point where they're very, very large and they're trying to monopolize the early inventory, and they're trying to spin it like it's a benefit for the consumer.
Mhm.
Well, if I take listings, let's say I'm selling a listing and I've got 1,000 agents over here and I've got 10,000 in the MLS. Am I representing the client better to put it in the 10,000 MLS or just put it in the 1,000 select? It blows my mind. I'm like, how could they even get a consumer? I don't even know what the sales line is to get somebody to believe that putting it in that 1,000 or only allowing Compass agents for a period of time to look at it instead of just putting it into the mass. It blows my mind how they could even think that that makes any sense.
I agree. I don't like the PLN either, by the way, because half of them you can't even see, and your buyers continually bug you that they want to see it, and you keep telling them the seller's not ready.
Yeah,
So,
and then it shows up under contract, right?
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
I
frustrating.
do know, Deborah, that Showing Time does send a text to your client, your seller, that, and they have to respond to it, that they have the permission to text them, with the showings.
Yes,
That
that
was
I know.
new, but that's the only thing I know. And I don't know about I haven't gotten text messages from them asking to upgrade stuff.
Sonia, do you have
Um,
a contact for a showing time? You have a contact for a showing time rep, right?
Let me double check on that one. I feel like I've got a contact for
Yeah.
everything.
Well, I know we've talked to them in the past, but I don't know if that was before or after you
Well,
I
joined us.
do.
we
I do.
just use the free one, I believe, where
Yeah.
there
We
is
do.
an upgraded one where that's like one of the agents she makes everybody send their offers for her listings through Showing Time. The reason she likes that is because when she sends out anything like offers due by this time, it goes to everybody who showed the listing. And then once the offers accepted, it goes out to everybody. She doesn't have to individually send emails, but you pay extra for that
Yeah.
and
It's a good
stuff.
system. It's just, it's owned by Zillow is a real estate company now, guys.
Yeah.
They are no different than us. So even the MLS has a hard time restricting, their data feed or anything like that because they have to give them the exact same data feed that they give us for our website, which shows all the listings. Um, you know,
Yeah.
their
I had
system
learned,
is,
I had
go
I
ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, I had learned that Zillow actually, originally, they had qualified themselves as a software company. So that was kind of how, right? And then they shifted. So they came into the industry as a software company, and that was how they kind of monopolized the MLSs and got them on board.
Yep. And
Yeah,
we all took the bait, just like realtor.com. We go, here,
yes,
yeah, go ahead, take all our information. That's great. And
right. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Diane, Mario asked, can he show up if it's last minute to the party?
only Mario can.
Yeah.
Mario is always welcome. Mario, I'd encourage you to just RSVP yes, and then if you can't show, don't show. But
Yeah.
just so that we
Better to
make
have
sure.
more. She has to tell the taco truck how much meat to get.
Yeah.
So better to RSVP if there's a chance you're coming. But it'd be awesome. Gotta help support Diane. She's working her butt off on this, and I'm gonna be there. We're all gonna be there to help, and come
It was a lot of fun
on.
last year. It was a great event last year.
Who doesn't want Christmas in July? My birthday's in December, so I'd like to make my birthday July so I get a better gift than in December because of Christmas.
No
So,
taken.
anybody feel free to bring me a gift at the July party.
It's your half birthday, your official half birthday.
Half birthday, yeah.
I'll log into Amazon, see what I can find.
Let's see. Marcia put careful with using Showing Time as your only communication with other brokers. I don't know why, but
I'll tell you
Well,
why, if you don't mind.
no.
please.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So I serve on professional standards for many years now with for our state. I'm honored to do it. And when brokers come in filing a complaint that they weren't notified of any, additional information, including and not limited to, uh, you know, uh, highest and best by a certain time, what have you, that becomes a real problem because I don't know about you, but I don't have any kind of a notification with showing time that rings and chimes on my phone, if I don't happen to look at it, those messages can easily get missed, especially when you're very busy.
Yeah, it actually comes as an email to you. I had an offer on her property and I was like, why am I having to do this through showing time? It's so weird. But then I kind of saw it because it also tells the seller every time an offer's coming through too. It sends them an email. And
Sure.
it sends an email out to everybody who showed it. So it's not like, so it's no different than us writing an email saying, and she
Oh,
does put it in agent remarks that you have to do this. And she still puts, if there are multiple offers
that
and
sounds
stuff.
like she's got a lot of good follow-up there. But for the average guy and gal on the street, we don't always have all those extra. We haven't upgraded, so we
Yeah,
don't get those messages
exactly.
in a timely
Yes.
fashion. And boy, oh boy, that can put you in a whole world of pain unnecessarily. Thanks for letting me
Yeah.
share.
You bet.
Yeah, of course. Anybody else want to ask a question or share something? This is your chance. We have Bill and Sonya hostage.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm going to let them
I'll do
go.
one more for you, and it's not a comment, it is a question. Or I'll start off by telling you that Lynn Madison recently spoke at one of the associations that I serve on their board for many years now. And interestingly enough, this new change that I don't know if it's been fully ratified or not, but where the seller, because I came into the meeting a few minutes late, where when discussing the options that the seller has. We always talk about the AVMs. Should they be turned on or turned off? How about the fact that you can turn off the days on market now?
What?
And yes, and yes. And the consensus of everybody at our event was, oh my God, they finally realized how to shut the damn barn door. Because there's a lot of buyers out there that feel they're so savvy and just like they can do their own gallbladder surgery, they can do their own CMAs. Well, not if they can't get that information. Not if only you can figure out how to put that together, but it will be completely off of the listings.
I was
Now,
not aware of that.
only if your seller feels that that is a positive for them. I can tell you how I feel about it. I'm jumping up and down for joy because it's going to put more onus, but also more necessary to go to a broker who is not the listing broker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
I
pop
haven't
a
heard
message
that
over to
either,
Lynn
Bill.
Madison. Yeah, and
How
just
does
say
that affect
conversation.
appraisers is where my mind actually goes. You know what I mean? Because that's part of the whole, when I mean, appraisers really don't go by days on market as much, but I'm just thinking if you are trying to do evaluation or things like that, is that going to affect doing the research, the diligence for things like appraisals?
Yeah,
Do we
yeah,
have
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for that. I mean, I own stock in MRED, so
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know how MRED works. MRED essentially is owned by the 7 realtor associations, and then there's secondary stockholders, and it's broker owners. There's no value in it. You pay a fee, and essentially we can sit in on some of the board of directors meetings, which are quite frankly boring because more than half the meeting they go into executive session. It drives me nuts. But we do get updates when changes like this are made ahead of everybody else. Well, we sometimes get updates like this ahead of everybody else. They're not
Should
the
I
greatest.
call Margaret Hicks and ask her?
Sure.
You could, or better yet, why don't we invite Lynn Madison in to give us legal updates?
Yeah, we
That's actually
could.
great. That's actually a great idea. If Lynn would do a private session for us.
Yeah, and it's really very informative. I've
I
always
don't, I have
enjoyed
to
a good
see if
relationship
there's
with
no
her.
charge because she does it for the boards and stuff, but I'll check with
Yeah.
her, with Lynn.
Well, she's going to other brokerages and doing it. I know she's gone into Kinga's office several times to
With no charge.
update. I don't know that. That
Because
will
she
have
does
to
have
check
her
on.
business, that's her business
Of course,
is,
but that she
yeah,
also might be because we're in her backyard.
yeah,
And he has an affinity for those in her backyard that could
yeah.
help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Kate Sachs comes for nothing. So, but I'll
Well, she
check it
was
out.
speaking too, actually. She was speaking
What?
too recently. She was speaking at our event recently too. This is just
Yeah,
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
yeah. I'll check. But it would be weird that Lynn would know about a big thing like that and
Well,
nobody else.
Lynn is on the board of directors for MRED. That's why.
Yeah,
And
but
she's
why wouldn't the MRED communication? That's the whole thing for the.
But she
That's why
goes to a higher level. She's state and national with that. So it's while MRED is our driving as the vehicle for these changes, the changes that are being driven by the different members of
Right.
these committees, and she's very much on every one of those committees. That's why, and she wouldn't have been able to talk about it if it wasn't something that was. I mean, she actually had the form pulled up when I walked in. I was like, "Holy cow!" So yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get her on the schedule. I know she's always really busy, but I'll check with her. I've known Lynn a long
Marcia, did you
time.
say you were unsure if it was ratified or not?
I don't, I had assumed it was, but because I didn't hear those words, precisely, again, I came in about 15 minutes late to our meeting. I'll send a message over to Lynn. Why don't I do that? And
Yeah,
just
and then let me know.
further clarify, and then I'll
Yeah,
send it off for you guys.
Yeah, let
And
Vicky
see if her schedule's open, maybe to come talk.
Yeah. And do I get paid for that?
No,
I mean, thank you for this. Thank you for the
I
heads
barely
up.
get
Thank you
paid
for
to do
the
this.
update.
You need to take that up with Bill.
It's all a volunteer thing.
Yeah, I volunteer a lot. Thank you, though.
We do it,
But I
Marcia,
will.
for the love of real estate.
I'll follow up with you guys on that. I'll send a message to Lynn right away. Thank you.
appreciate it,
Thanks,
Marcia.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
All
And I
right.
hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And Bill and Sonia, thank you so much. I'm going to do
having
also
us.
meet your accountants because I want you to get to know the team behind doing your commission checks and everything. And we'll have a little fun Q&A with them. And it's nice to put a face to the names, right? And stuff. So,
Hello.
hi, Derek.
Hi. Thank you. Hey, listen, this is not real estate related, but I just wanted to thank the staff, especially Deanna, for helping spread the word of my son's condition and helping us to find a kidney donor for him. We have gotten an overwhelming response from all over. And I just want to say with my family, from our hearts, we appreciate you.
Aw,
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Derek. So
thank
are there
you.
candidates for a donor? Have you gotten candidates so far?
Yes, we have. Yes,
Wow.
we have. There right now. Northwestern Hospital is vetting, and the last report that they said that we may have 2 promising donors.
That's
That's
awesome.
wonderful news.
It is.
Hey, God is
Yes,
good.
I just want to thank you guys.
We'll put it in our prayers. And will you keep us updated, Derek?
We sure will.
Okay, yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Thank you for the wonderful
All right.
news.
Yes,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye,
You know,
everyone.
bye. I just want to thank you, everyone, like Bill, Sonia, Vicky, Diane, for all the support. And I have to say that I love the Home Smart Dashboard.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Magdalena.
Thank you.
Doing
Are you
something
coming
right.
to the Christmas in July?
I will try to do my best. I spoke with Diane already, so I will know by the next weekend.
Diane's not even on anymore. She doesn't know how
Oh.
hard I'm pushing. Somebody on St. Charles is on to let her know. So,
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Wonderful. Hope to see you there.
all right, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
gang.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.